Well, welcome back to the ABCs of Politics and Culture. We are a little bit light in the room today because we're missing Charlie, but we're here and we might can carry on a couple of times without Charlie. He's off. Where's Charlie these days?
Oh, I believe he's going to a wedding or something to that effect.
Had to miss this for a wedding.
I didn't want to say too much. It means his house is empty. I don't want to publish that.
Well, I'm sure he has a sitter. You know, I've been thinking. I like to think about what the talk on the street is, and the talk on the street right now is just every time I open up social media, I see people that are here for the World Cup, and they're just amazed at America, and
Yes.
and they say they've been lied to. They've been lied to about America. Yeah. Every one of them, we've been lied to about America. America's amazing. It's wonderful. And some of them don't want to leave. They want to move here. I'm watching a couple that are traveling in a camper and they now want to live here. And they're trying to pick out, which location they'd like to live in. And it set me to thinking a lot, Bob. One of the things I like to say is that we're here for two reasons. One is to serve God and the other is to serve others.
Yes.
Those are the only reasons. Sometimes life gets in the way. We have to work and pay bills and such. But we're here to serve others. And how do we do this? To whom much is given, much is required. And I don't know, as an American citizen, if there's any people on the earth to whom so much has been given, if you have the gift of citizenship in America.
Yes.
Because you almost stole my topic from me on Monday about the World Cup. So now I open the gate so we can talk about the World Cup now.
Oh, yes. Yes. So you brought out one video. Allow me to bring out another, all right, if it's all right.
Sure.
Because in case you didn't know it, I'm a junkie. I have an addiction problem. YouTube.
Truth comes out.
I'm addicted to YouTube. I'm looking at knee replacement surgery. Guess what I spend most of my time watching on YouTube? But in any event, the World Cup was phenomenal because of all the recordings by Europeans of their experience here in America. And one of them, I'll give you an example, was Buc-ee's. Okay, they would walk in, go to Buc-ee's, and just be boogie-eyed, kind of like I am right now, right? And they got the camera out and looking around and saying, "This is the gas station." And they're just amazed at what's all there, just all the options. They're impressed by our food. Yeah, they're familiar with all the chemicals in it too. But so on, it's quite the eye-opener for them.
I think they think those chemicals taste pretty good.
There was one focused on Fruit Loops. Like, do you see this? I think this is illegal in the UK. Pointing out Fruit Loops.
Yeah, there was a man that came for a visit and he was asked, which attraction did he want to see the most? Was it Mount Rushmore? Was it the Grand Canyon? And he said, I want to see Walmart because I hear there's all different kinds of bread.
Yes.
And we literally don't understand that.
We don't.
We do not. Now, I grew up in another country, but Okinawa and Japan are, still very wealthy countries, and we had lots of different choices of breads, but it's still nothing like America. And, it sets me to thinking, how much do we value what we have? Because I don't even think we realize what we have,
Agreed.
Especially if you're born and raised here. And maybe you've never been out of the country, if you've just been on a vacation. Even if you've been on a vacation, you still have so much more money and you're coming back home. So if you're in one of those countries, you don't think about what would it be like to really be here forever.
Yes, yes.
We're told, kind of maybe not in these words, to brighten the corner where we are. Have you ever heard that song?
No, I haven't.
Well, and so I think about these people that are here and how they're amazed by this great country. And Bob, what do we need to do to keep it this way? I mean, we're losing what we don't even know we have.
Well, that's true. And I'll give an example. One thing that we do well, at least here in Oklahoma, is the whole idea of the right to self-defense. The Second Amendment, as we might call it, it's I'd rather call it the right to self-defense. And the whole idea of firearms, I remember seeing this one episode, a European walks in, this gentleman walks in, he gets into a sports store. And first off, he's amazed by the size, all the displays. How many hats can you possibly have, right? Just amazed by it all. And he makes his way over to the firearms, and he's like, I don't see anybody. And I can just grab this rifle and pick it up, And you see and he's putting it down, he's checking it out, looking at the dangerous end. Do you see how big this opening is? Checking out, going over and checking out all the pistols. And he says, anybody can just buy this stuff? He's just utterly amazed. But that is a part of our culture that we can take for granted. And it's a very important part of our culture for the idea of self-defense, preventing tyrannical governments, just that aspect of it, including sports and all, right? And we do take it for granted. If we don't defend that, those few who want to go ahead and run our lives and manage our affairs, they'll take it away. Now, they won't take it away from themselves, but they will take it away from us so that they can manage us easier. We need to protect that. And it is ingrained in our culture, to your point, Aya. We need, and not only that, but other aspects that we have with the liberty we have so that we can serve God as we're called, serve God, serve others, right? Isn't that really the goal we have of our liberties? You brought it out.
Right.
We have our liberties so we can do what we ought to do, not just what we want to do. So I think you're dead on.
On the Second Amendment topic that you just brought up, I was talking to one of the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association coordinators the other day, and he was saying, he was kind of giving me a history of what's gone on with the Second Amendment rights in Oklahoma. And he said just a decade ago, you couldn't carry. You literally couldn't carry. And we've gone in one decade to open carry. But he says how fragile that is because what can happen in another decade or less.
Yes.
And so one of the questions I ask people all the time is, what are you doing to help this cause of freedom? Because it is so fragile and so easily lost. And if I could challenge people to just spend, starting with 1 hour a month, if we could challenge people to give 1 hour a month towards protecting and preserving our freedoms, it would make such a huge difference. And we spend, one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about today was that where we spend our time is where our interests and our love is. If you love to hunt, people are thinking all year about first day of hunting.
That's right.
And if you love to teach, you have the summer off and you're already planning for that first day back in school. And so and the Bible says where our heart is, it's where our treasure is, right?
Sure.
And we must learn to treasure freedom. And sometimes I wonder, is it going to take a real loss for us to treasure it and to cherish it and to fight for it? Or will we see that before we get to that point? I know Americans have tasted freedom. Freedom. We talk about what you talked about in our last segment of crony capitalism and what we've lost, and where it's headed. But I think Americans have tasted freedom enough that if you get too, like I said, if we come after your air conditioning, you are going to come out of your cave like a mama bear. And so will Americans literally put their backs up when our freedom is really challenged? Or are they so desensitized that we'll just find ourselves in a place where it's hard to come back?
It's easy to take for granted. It really is. I might use a different expression. I'll tell you myself, as I know you're a Christian as well, but myself as a Christian, what motivates me to be active in this area is the whole idea of justice. Yes. When an offense occurs, we need to restore justice, and we need to do this as a society. No vengeance, being a, what's the term again? I'm missing a word. No vigilantism, right? The whole idea of we do need to have a good order. We do need to have due process. We need these instruments. So there is a place of government in the area of maintaining justice. We definitely need to have that. If we don't have that, what's going to happen is the few with the biggest guns are going to rule over the rest of us. And it's going to be oppressive, such as we see in much of the world. So we still have a fair number of liberties, and we need to restore even more so that we can serve God as we're called, instead of by trying to serve Him with the boot, somebody else's boot on our neck holding us down. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Now talk about air conditioning some more. You brought that up with the Europeans. I'm dying to talk about it, but you brought it up first, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, I grew up in Okinawa, and most of the time air conditioning was unaffordable. Mm-hmm. They have the split levels, and they've had them long before we had them here.
Sure.
But we didn't have a split level air conditioner. And so for most of we would have a couple of nights out of the year that we would run it just so we could sleep. So I know what it's like not to have air conditioning.
Ooh.
It's a big deal.
Yes.
It's a big, people won't even buy a car that doesn't have an air conditioner running in it. You know that, right?
Yeah, not here in Oklahoma.
Even to get me from here to there, we've got to have the AC everywhere. In the car, in the school, in the store. You gonna shop at a Walmart that their air conditioner's broken? We'll drive to the next town over. Not happening.
Yeah, but did you see any of those YouTube videos on the Europeans coming to the World Cup and going to the stadiums, and especially in the southern U.S., and their comments about air conditioning?
I probably saw some, but it wasn't what stood out to me.
Oh, it did. It did with me. All right. It's amazing how much the folks, especially in the UK, had to say about Americans and their air conditioners. They would watch the weather, and and here they are. They're heading for Texas, right? Because let's say that's their venue where their team is playing, and they would see the weather and think, how do they live in all that heat? It's so hot in Texas. I don't know how we're going to get out the airplane and survive in all that heat. It's so brutally hot. Then they get out the airplane and run right smack into a wall of cooled air, right? And they get into the car and it's air conditioned. Then they go to the stadium. They're walking outside. This is Europeans record themselves. Walking outside and it's brutally hot. And then they walk into this stadium, seats 70,000. And they say, it's like walking into a refrigerator. It was just so cold. And they were just utterly impressed by Americans and all their air conditioning and ice in their drinks. We love our stuff cold, don't we? Yeah. But we have that.
You do notice I always have my jacket, right?
Yes.
Everyone talks about me always wearing a jacket because I didn't grow up with air conditioning. It's cold here to me.
Yeah,
indoors it's cold, but
this room is barely marginal to me.
This is
and yet
nice today.
I wear a sweater.
This is nice. Charlie usually is freezing me out. You're talking about injustice. Mm-hmm. And injustice to me is almost the same thing as corruption. I mean, it translates to each other. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of a nosy person. I like to call it curious. But there's a baby picture of me when I'm 5 months old, and I'm just like, I'm trying to see what's going on over there. You can't tell in the picture what's going on, but I was born like this. But the point I'm trying to make in a roundabout way is that I believe it's our responsibility as well, Bob, when we see other people being treated unjustly or there's corruption being doled out on one of our brothers or sisters.
Yes.
That we stand with them and for them. We've been seeing that a lot in our state right now. I mean, I might just bring up J.J. Humphrey.
Yes.
He's a bulldog that fights corruption everywhere, but there are some people who are not as strong of individuals as we are. Now, I'm sure there's people who are stronger than we are, but I think it's our responsibility to defend those who are being treated unjustly or unfairly or having corruption doled out upon them. And so that becomes our responsibility as well, serving God and serving others. I think He would have us to do that. And we see a lot of that these days, whether it's the criminal justice system, whether it's the Department of Human Resources,
yes.
the DHS, Department of Human Services. We're seeing that.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll tell you, we don't help our neighbors out. And the idea of pushing back on corruption and violence and things like that, and we don't come together to prevent all that. It's going to eventually, and we say, it doesn't impact me, so you leave it alone?
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to come to your front door. It's going to come to my front door.
That's right.
And then we stand alone because our neighbor has been conquered. So we need to do it together. So to your point,
I think that gives me a pass on being nosy.
If you're out to serve others and to take care of others, Yeah, I guess there is an element where you may come across as nosy, okay? But it's, what do you do?
Yeah.
How do you help people? First, you have to know the situation so that you can. I can help people in a benevolent manner. I get nosy. I have to ask about their life situation so I know how to best help them. It's just the way it is. Don't worry about all that. Take care of people. They'll learn you. All right. Yeah, and you mentioned the idea of an hour a month for the sake of contributing towards the cause of good government, justice, right, and all that. We do that. Our problems are solved. Even even on an international level, we think about all the corruption that's going on, which we all keep track of. It's kind of the gateway politics, what's going on at the highest level and coming down and coming to get us. If we can engage 1 hour a month, the whole idea, and pushing back on all that, we all did this, we'd ultimately push back on that. Start local.
Yes.
Start local and begin to clean that up, and you can keep going, and you'll impact the national scene and international.
I actually made notes on that.
Oh, did you? See them.
Look right there. We're starting to think like that scary Bob.
I'm jumping ahead in IS script.
Stealing my notes. But there's all kinds of ways to do that locally. I mean, the city council, you know, the city council is who made the mask mandate a few years ago.
Oh, were they? Did they?
The city council. And so if you didn't like the mask mandate and you live in the city, you might run for city council. And it's not hard to do. You don't have to get a whole lot of votes. You also need a good mayor. Logan County's doing pretty good, but it's taken work.
Yes.
And we've all worked to make this happen. The school boards.
Sure.
The school boards actually, I don't know if you want to use the word hire, the superintendent. And so if you get on the school board and you value freedoms and rights and our Constitution, you can make a huge difference in your school system. I don't think public schools are going away anytime soon.
No, what would be nice,
like them or love them.
Restore local control. Right now, way too much influence by the federal, even the state, in my opinion. Bring it back down to local control, where the superintendent is accountable to the parents, and the superintendent knows a lot of the parents. See, that's where it needs to be. And I think a lot of our problems go away.
Yeah, and if you're not blessed to have a good sheriff, that's an office that you run for.
Yes.
Let's see, county commissioners. You know, county commissioners have a lot of power, more than people would think.
Yes, they do.
And so it's important that you have good county commissioners. And then from local, you step up to district. So you've got representatives, you've got state senators, you've got congressmen and women, you've got U.S. senators. All of those are in different districts.
Yes.
Then you go to the state, you've got state senate and statewide offices. And I mean, this starts with an hour a month where you're getting to know people, they're getting to know you. If you are a person who leads transparently and justly and fairly, and you believe in our Constitution, run for office.
Yes,
you know?
Please do.
Yeah, get your name out there. And then country, you can stand against injustice and corruption. It's all written down. But, you know, Texas has congressmen and women. Texas has U.S. senators. They affect Oklahoma.
They do.
Because they all vote for our country. So if you see a senator from New Jersey, a U.S. senator that isn't operating in the way that you'd like, call them up. It doesn't matter where you are.
It's true. It's true. But to your point, you just take our county commissioners and the school board officials, your sheriff. They're remarkably accessible, okay? Now, you need to know the right protocols. You learn it quickly. You need to be easy on their schedule. It always pays to be respectful, even if you disagree with someone, because they are people too, and they did win the election, right? So but you can deliver a message. You can get it across, okay? And all these folks are state legislators, state senators, state rep. They're all accessible. You can call them, make an appointment, and visit with them. You can visit them in their office during session. If you just need to learn to do this, bring friends, and you can have a huge impact. Remarkably few people do.
Yeah. And you know, if you aren't a person who can see yourself running for office, we had an event probably a couple of weeks ago now where we had around, I guess, 450 people, Charlie was saying.
Yes.
And a lot of those people came away having met candidates, talked to them, and they were able to make more educated votes the next day.
Yes.
And that was them giving about 2 hours out of the whole month. And they got to meet these candidates. And so even if you're not going to run for office, if you spend some time to get to know your legislators, which he was talking about earlier, then you can make educated votes and encourage those around you to make educated votes in an hour a month.
Yes, you can. And now that was great, that event. I remember, it was good of you to put on. I know you and Amy worked on that, and just such a well-organized event. And I'm thankful for Wayne Murphy for allowing us to host that event at his church. But at that time, we had all kinds of people running, even for a statewide office. Mm-hmm. Of course, they're coming out to get votes. But it is a great time you had several people running for corporation commissioner, insurance commissioner, these statewide offices that were lieutenant governor and governor. You had all these various candidates running out. This is the time to listen to you. There was one of them. I've been having this ongoing conversation with who is likely, I would imagine, our future corporation commissioner, currently Representative Bowles, and we've had this ongoing conversation about the idea of the power consumption of AI and how it is that we can ensure that the established customer base, really consumers, don't find themselves without power. And we were getting into some level of detail in this conversation because I was doing a little bit of research, not a lot. And at that event, he sought me out to have a conversation with it. I'm not anybody special. I don't even work in that field, right? I'm a retired IT guy. But that was access. Anyone can do that. I'm nobody special, trust me. Ask Aya, she'll tell you. I'm nobody special. Anyone can do that. If you have a passion in an area and all, and you get to the right person, and you can talk about these details. Even the idea of insurance, it may sound boring, but the whole idea of talking to future candidates about what is going on with, my roof getting ripped off due to a hailstorm and so on. What is the state's role in that? And what is, how can we, get out of the hair of the insurance companies so they can do their job, all right, and do it right. But yes, go out to the evildoer, all right, insurance companies that don't want to pay out the proper claims according to their own contracts. Yes, that is appropriate place government step in. But you could talk to these people. Mm-hmm. And in our case, even Congresswoman Bice was out. Anybody could walk up to her and talk to her. And that, how many times are they not accessible when it's difficult? And yet at that event they were.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I want to go back a second. The Duncan Fish Fry, I don't believe you were there. You were, yeah, okay.
I had to go to the Shine event.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
We had to split up to cover all the bases.
That's right. JJ was telling me that. All right. He was telling me that. So because he was down at the Duncan Fish Fry. Yeah. The right to bear arms. There was 900 people in this room. Okay. And there was a debate on stage, gubernatorial candidates, the whole bit. And you had one person happen to be running for office, Heather Boss. Okay. Heather is walking around. I'm smiling looking at this gal because she's sitting there. She's got her sidearm open carry. And I don't know if anybody in that room have felt threatened. It was the right thing to do. People were comfortable with it because that's our culture with the open carry being restored in Oklahoma. People are getting more and more used to that. I even got a picture of it. Maybe I'll find it and show it here on this slide. But it was just normal. And the law enforcement were there. They weren't tailing her to make sure she was, not going to start killing people or anything like that. They probably liked it too. I bet they got a chuckle out of it. Heather running around the place. This is excellent. And you can meet all these people. You can meet them all and talk to them.
Going back to something you mentioned, and for you guys, Wayne Murphy actually makes the studio available for us, and we really appreciate that. And where our event was at the other night, I mean, we started out, I think our first meeting we had like 84, but we've had up to 120, and then this last time like 450. My point is that Pastor Wayne Murphy has this facility for us and lets us use that at a low cost because of our efforts to defend freedom. So for those of you who want a way to help, whatever skill you have, whatever property you have, this is another great way that you can help, because some of the churches don't want conservative events on their properties. And so some of us have to try to find places that will let us even host our meetings. And so if you have monetary ways to help, if you have properties ways to help, if you're an IT guy, if you're a graphics person, all of these things can be used to help defend and preserve our freedoms.
Yes, yes.
And if you're in other states, if you're in Oklahoma, Bob or I, or even Charlie can help you get connected no matter where you are in the state. But even if you're in another state, we can definitely get you connected to the right people to help you get in this fight with us.
Yes, because and it starts local. I highly encourage you to get connected locally with your friends and neighbors, develop those relationships, and then grow from there. It means a great deal. I think of what you really champion the cause locally here in Oklahoma or in Logan County. I think you said the OK2A meeting before you took over, I believe it was 3 people attended. And yet when you got kick-started and you got going with it, your first meeting you had 84. That wasn't an accident. That was I doing the hard work. All right, getting on the phone. I'm going to build you up a little bit. Getting on the phone and making those phone calls. All the friends and neighbors, just reaching out and touching people, encouraging them to come on out. And some portion of them did. And then it has, when they see the networking, they see the opportunity, they build relationships with each other, it can continue to expand and grow. That's how we have to do it, because we need to worry about a local community, and that's where it starts.
Yes, and it's definitely for the greater cause. You know, I wanted to join the Air Force.
I didn't know that.
I wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Your dad has something to do with that?
My dad did have something to do with it because I wanted to be just like my dad, but my dad would not give me his blessing. Oh. And the cutoff age back then was 38. I asked him all the way till I couldn't enlist anymore.
Well, that wasn't too far ago. That wasn't too long ago. Maybe the Air Force made a waiver.
Yes. But, you know, it's for the greater cause. And wherever, like I said in the very beginning, whatever corner you find yourself in, you know, Bob, it doesn't matter what we're doing. We can be grocery shopping. We can be eating at a restaurant. But we touch lives everywhere we go. And we can just continue sharing this message because America's worth it.
Yes, yes. And I'll tell you, I know, and I'm going to go back to the Christian angle. The reality is, I know that many people watching this video will be Christians. I want you to realize this is a mandate from God. If you take a look at Matthew 23:23, and the weightier matters of law, the very first thing that our master brings up is the idea of justice. It's caring for others who are oppressed. You do a word search on the word oppressed, that concept, and you will find it out there. We are to bring this up. This is a part of bringing people to not only an understanding of Christ so that we can get into heaven. I know many people focus on that. But what about our daily lives? What about our next step? What about today being Wednesday, tomorrow being Thursday? What do we do, right? Those daily steps matter. And this is a part of it. I encourage you to get more engaged in this.
Yep. Serving God, serving others.
Serving God, serving others. That's how you start. Yes, it is.
Well, do you have anything to add to that?
How can I have anything to add to that?
We thank you guys so much for joining us, and it'll be Bob and me, and we're going to try to bring some people on until we get Charlie back. So hope you have a good week.
We do have some guests next week coming, by the way. Thank you.